Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 3, On the Wings of Kiridax, just aired a couple days ago, so here is our breakdown. I'm Cody Dastrup, this is Star Wars Doctrine. Thanks for tuning in, and on this show, we talk about all things Clone Wars, and we call it Clone Wars and Chill. Basically, we're just going to dive into each episode of Clone Wars on this show, and talk about the things you may have missed, or just kind of have a discussion and see where it goes from there. I really have enjoyed Clone Wars so far. This episode may not have been my favorite of the last, compared to the last two. It was still good, and I actually really loved the fighting sequence at the end. But yeah, so let's start off with our little fortune cookie nugget of inspiration that these Clone Wars episodes always start off with. It said, "Survival is one step on the path of living." I thought that was probably referring to Echo and his process as he gets ready to, kind of get back to normal life, because he did do, the hard work and surviving and all of the stuff, the trauma he's gone through. He made it through that. He survived. But it's just one step. He's got more, which is going to be, readjusting to his way of life. He obviously has some, issues where he's missing his legs and an arm. And he's got a lot of steps to go from there. And I think maybe next episode we'll get to see a lot of how that's going to affect him and his everyday life. Excuse me, guys. I do want to apologize. I'm kind of under the weather. That's why my voice sounds a little off. So if you don't mind bearing with me, I do appreciate it. Try my best here. But yeah, moving into the episode, I thought it was fun. It was basically an escape episode, and luckily Echo, it was because of them being hacked into his brain, basically. He's able to kind of know some of the schematics of their base, the Techno Union, and we'll see how that kind of comes into play later. But he's able to find them an escape route as Wat Tambor and his droids kind of have him trapped and cornered into this room. And Wat Tambor sends in this little murder ball thing that shoots out all this electricity, and Wrecker tosses the clones up this shaft that Echo told him about. And I thought one of the coolest scenes was when Anakin jumps up. First off, he's like, "Wrecker, don't touch me. Like, I can make this jump myself." So he does. And then as this murder ball starts electrocuting everywhere, Wrecker throws some grenades, and Anakin forces him up. And the whole time he's yelling like, "Oh, don't let it get me! Don't let it get me!" Which was kind of fun, give you some humor. I kind of, not because I don't like Wrecker, but I kind of wanted to see him get electrocuted by it, just so we could see like what it does. It was kind of sad to see such a cool, unique weapon or droid and not get to see the effects that its little lightning would have. But anyways, they escape, and Echo leads them to this shaft, through the shaft, and then on out to this big long pole. They pretty much have to tightrope across to live, but they get surrounded by droids. And of course these droids can fly because they look like grasshoppers, which all the droids seem to be kind of modeled after insects in their own way. So that was kind of fun to see him flying. Made me think it would be a cool Battlefront playable character. But they totally look like the grasshoppers from Bug's Life, if you've ever seen that. That's what I thought of, at least. And the first thing that goes through my mind is that scene from Episode 9 where Poe's like, "They fly now? They fly now." And I'm sure a lot of people thought that as well, but they even made a joke in the episode about it, like, "Oh, wow, they fly," But Tech, because he has these awesome, cool goggles and stuff, has, of course, the Kiridak call somehow programmed in them, and he's able to call out to them, and they're able to jump on these Kiridaks and fly away, and they get to safety. Wat Tambor gets to watch his technology blow up and all of his research after he yells, "That's years of research wasted." So obviously it was a good move by Wrecker to blow that thing up, and because Wat Tambor is so angry, he sends all the droids after him, and of course they land back at the natives. Our heroes land back with the natives, and they're all mad that they brought the war to them because they said, "You told us you wouldn't," and that was kind of part of the deal. And to be honest, the Republic kind of seems to do that throughout the Clone Wars. They pull people in that didn't want to be in, but then we get to hear kind of Rex give it a beautiful speech about about a reoccurring theme in Star Wars, about how staying neutral, all it does is help the bad guys, because you're not opposing what they're doing. You're just letting them walk all over and do what they want. And that really is a reoccurring theme that we see, and it really is true in real life. If you see even just something as simple as someone bullying someone, not doing anything about it, it doesn't help the person getting bullied. It only helps the bully. and the Separatists are the bully and the droid army, of course, in this scenario. So they get them pulled into the war, and they kind of see their point when Rex points to Echo and says, "Look what they did to my brother." This was probably one of my favorite scenes in all of the episode, and he just says they took away his humanity, they took away his choices, they tried to turn him into a machine, which, totally makes sense coming from the Techno Union. But the Techno Union pretends to be neutral when clearly they're not, and I think it just goes to show, that being neutral isn't always the best move for the good side. And I thought that the way the natives really took it was probably like, hey, these guys have been lying to us, saying they're neutral and doing this kind of stuff on our home planet. Like, we got to take back our turf, And so they get a little inspired by Rex. Anakin says, I couldn't have said it better myself. And then you get a big old spider droids coming in, and Anakin doing some showy off moves and saves the day. And of course, all of the natives are praising him. And one of the funniest parts was when Hunter makes a joke about how you can't compete with the Jedi because the clones are over here doing as much work, but the Jedi does it fancier and prettier and has a cool lightsaber. So that really is hard to compete with. The Jedis get all the credit, and the natives even tell the Jedi, like, hey, Jedi will always have a friend here. And this is a good point. The clones do a lot of work, especially through the Clone Wars, and there's a lot more of them. So, but the Jedi get all the credit, of course. The end of the episode was interesting because Wat Tambor of the Techno Union says, we gotta, what was his quote? He basically says, we must find a way to recoup on our investment. And their investment was Echo. And then makes you think they have something planned in mind for Echo. I don't know if they're just trying to get him back or if they still have some way they can get into his brain, but I'm interested to see if the next episode explores that, because Rex says to him, hey, it's going to be just like old times, Echo. And Echo doesn't look convinced, he's just like, oh yeah, just like old times, but he seems very, very unconvinced that it will be like old times. So I'm interested to see where the rest of this arc goes. We got it finishing up. I've enjoyed this arc so far. It's been fun, but I can't lie to you. I'm excited to get into the Ahsoka arc, which is next, and the Siege of Mandalore after that. Some of the highlights from this episode, I really did like the little grasshopper droids and flying. The murder ball thing was a little awesome, a little lightning thing that came out of it, but I do wish we got to see that in action. It would have been a lot cooler to see it shock someone. I thought it was interesting how Echo has some of the info from the Techno Union base, and it makes me wonder how much, if he's able to know some of their plans and schematics and things that can kind of shift the tide of the war for the Republic. That would be kind of a cool way that they're able to win some battles. I thought, let's see here. Oh yes, we did get a scope cam again from Crosshair, which was one of my favorite parts in the first episode, where we got to see through, first person through his eyes, through the scope. I'm excited to see where this episode leads to next, and kind of how they wrap up this arc next week. It should be a pretty good episode, and we'll keep doing this show. Thank you guys for your continued support. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook and Twitch. We're doing all the fun Star Wars stuff, lots of discussions, lots of good stuff going on. So thank you once again, guys, and as always, may the Force be with you.